Hey everybody, Bug Eater back with another video. So this week I'm taking you along on a hunt around some farm fields as well as a demolished farmhouse. So there was a lot of cool stuff to be found, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Whoa, this was a terrible signal. I thought it was a shotgun head stamp until I flipped it over. No, that is actually an eagle button. It's a great seal, looks like World War I, but it's missing the back and it's completely smashed, but it's a cool find. Let's see if we get something else. Well, this one wasn't super deep, and I just flipped out another piece of old stuff. This is just a buckle of some sort, definitely a brass one. It hit really nice on the machine, 85 was the number, but it's a cool find. Let's see if we get something else. Well, that is just how it popped. Nice big signal. That is a massive spoon. Looks like a big serving spoon, so I'm going to try and unbend this and clean it up off camera, and I will loop you back in. Well, this unbent pretty nicely, but there is a ton of fancy on it. You can see on the handle, a little more on the back, but that's a pretty cool find. Let's see if we get something else. So I have moved not too far from the field, and I'm in where a farmhouse yard used to be. Take a look at that. That is a watch fob, and that is in pretty nice condition. It's got a lot of fancy on it. Actually, might be some sort of metal even. Not sure. I'm going to clean this up off camera and I will loop you back in. So here's that watch fob all cleaned up. It looks like there was something in the middle at one point, but I will recheck the hole and see if it's around. Here's the back of it. It's from the Martin Sonor Company, and I will throw up a date next to this when I find it, but I am super thrilled with that. So in the patch that'll go. Let's see if we get something else. Just an update on that fob. Look what I just fished out of the hole. It's a little decal that says every drop 100% pure. It's made of plastic, which means I should be able to glue this back on no problem, but that is incredible. So let's see if we get something else. So here's another interesting find. This is an old lipstick tube. You can see the logo up at the top, though I cannot read it all too well. If I find the brand, I'll put it up next to it, but it's a pretty cool find. Let's see if we get something else. So this one hit identical to a nickel. It's about the same size, but there's a hole in the center, and I see writing on it. So that's going to be some sort of button. And actually, yeah, Ideal Manufacturers and Company. So this is a pretty early, like turn of the century era overalls button. There's just an iron rivet on the back, but that's a pretty cool find. I'll take it. Let's see if we get something else. Well, here's another interesting find. This was over a foot deep, sounded like a silver dime, but this appears to be some sort of pocket watch. It's not precious, it's just a brass bezel, but still a pretty cool find. Definitely got some H to it. So in the pouch that'll go. Let's see if we get something else. So this hit like a $50. That is not a coin. I see some sort of what I believe is a car badge. Oh, it says Chevrolet on it. That's interesting. See what's on the back. Nothing. It looks like it's brass, but I'm going to clean this up a little bit off camera and I'll loop you back in. Well, here's that Chevy badge all cleaned up. It's got some enamel on it. It's made of brass, and on the back it's got a very old looking patina. So I'm guessing that this is off of a vintage Chevy. I will throw up the make and model next to it, but that is a super cool find. So let's see if we get something else. Well, this one was a little bit deeper, and it was super loud on the machine. It looks to be an old buckle of some sort. And wow, that is a lot of silver wash, it looks like. That is a pretty interesting find though. So let's see if we get something else. Well, it looks like we've got one more piece of old stuff. This appears to be some sort of big brass hinge, and it's got an Eastlake pattern to it. So that has definitely got some age to it. It's probably original to this house that was torn down. So let's see if we get something else. This one came in 91. I see a green penny in the hole. All right. With the numbers, it has to be a wheat penny.
I marked it,
I think I see 1 cent, and that is Lincoln on this side.
Dad, it's marked.
I can't see a date all too well, but if it's an older one, I'll loop you back in. If not, let's see if we get something else. Here's another piece of old stuff. This looks like some sort of suspender clip with some teeth on it. It's super green, looks super old, but I do not see any writing on it. It's a cool find either way. Let's see if we get something else. So here's another interesting find. I don't think it is super old, and the farmer probably was not happy when he lost this, but it is a blade of some sort, and it sort of comes out. It's stainless steel, but it's a little bit rusted, but it's a cool find. Let's see if we get something else. So my buddies have found a couple of lighters. Both of them appear to be Zippos, and this one's a little bit crusty, but this one's got some silver wash left on it, but they're cool finds. Let's see if we get something else. So here's another piece of old stuff. This, I believe, is some sort of either a fancy bit or maybe a button, but it's a cool find either way. It's definitely got some age to it. So let's see if we get something else. So Ted just pulled up something super cool. This is a trigger guard off of a musket. So this is super early for this spot, but we'll take it. Let's see if we get something else. So I was digging here and popped over this clump here. That's got a coin in it. It's very green. It hit 82 on the dais too, so I'm thinking it has to be an Indian head penny. And yep, that is 1 cent. So that is an Indian head penny for sure. Let's see what kind of date we have on this. It's a little bit crusty, so I'm going to clean this off camera and I will loop you back in. So here's a look at that Indian head penny all cleaned up. The date on it is 1887, and underneath the dirt it has a beautiful green patina. Here's the 1 cent on the back. Lots of detail left on it, so I'll take it. Let's see if we get something else. Well, I'm gonna try and keep this quiet so Ted doesn't hear me from across the field. I just pulled up something I've never found before, and he's been making fun of me for a long time for never having found one, but that is a Rains guide. So horse tack, but still a cool find. Let's see if we get something else.
It's a very old site.
Ted just dropped a find on me here. This is an eagle button that is super encrusted, and with the design, it looks Civil War to me. I'm going to clean this up a little bit off camera, and I'll loop you back in. So here's that Civil War button all cleaned up. I will throw up whatever variety it is next to it, but that's an awesome find. Nice job. Let's see if we get something else. Well, it is my turn for a button, but it is not a Civil War button. This one is just an overalls rivet, and it says Jones brand on it. If I had to guess, it was probably turn of the century or so, but it's a cool find. Let's see if we get something else. Well, this was way down deep. I see lead. That is a bullet of some sort, and that looks excessively old, like 1860s, 1870s old, but that's a cool find. Let's see if we get something else. Here's another piece of old stuff. That is a brass buckle. It hit just like a coin, and it's a little bit smaller, but it's a cool find. Let's see if we get something else. So this hit just like a nickel. It's made of lead, and I see some writing on it, meaning this is probably a bale seal, and here's some more writing on the other side, but it's an interesting find. It's definitely got some age to it. Let's see if we get something else. So this is an interesting piece. I pulled it up hitting like a copper penny, and it appears to be a ring that is super, super mangled. It is just made of copper, but it's still a cool find. Let's see if we get something else. Hey everybody, Bug Eater back with another wrap up from my hunt around farm sites with Ted. So I want to start off by saying congrats to him on all of his awesome finds. Here's my take from the hunt. I got into a makeup compact, a clock part, a modern pocket knife, as well as a spoon with some fancy on it. I also got onto this East Lake bit, a Rains guide, 3 buckles. I also got onto a pocket watch that's a little bit mangled up, as well as a lipstick tube, chunk of harmonica reed, leather rivet, bale seal, an older bullet. I got a few buttons. This first one is an Ideal Manufacturers overalls rivet. This one is a Jones brand. This is an eagle button, probably dating to World War I or World War II, but it's a little bit mangled up. I also got onto the Chevrolet car badge from the 1930s. One watch fob. It says every drop 100% pure, and it's for the Martin Sonor Paint Company. There's the back of it. I got onto a ring made of brass, all mangled up. And then the 2 coins are a 1950D wheat penny and an 1887 Indian head penny. And here's the back of that coin. But that was my hunt, guys. Thanks again for coming along. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe. And this is Bug Eater, signing out.